McGrath, number 2. Jeremy cuts to the inside. Emig, 1, bar to bar. Number 11, Jimmy Button. Oh, look at Button. That is the teammate. Jimmy Button takes the lead. Incredible. And going down is Ezra Lusk. Lusk went down in the corner before the timing section. Button's getting so much good momentum out of the corners, but now if something happens, and look out, Jeremy was far enough away from him to stay out of trouble. McGrath is our leader. Ezra Lusk to the inside. Will he hold on to the podium spot with Larry Ward on the attack?
Coming up, there's a section. This is where Lusk went fast.
Ezra Lusk into second place. Incredible. Can Jimmy Button hold on to the podium spot? The checkers for Jeremy. Tonight, AMA Supercross returns to this usually sunny Southern California paradise, San Diego, California, for round 5 of the 98 Supercross Series. Art Eckman along with David Bailey, Marty Reed bringing you the action. Our qualifying procedure briefly now as follows. The top 4 riders from each qualifying heats get the best pick of the gates, and they transfer directly to the main event. The others go to the semifinal round, where the top 5 from each semifinal get to the main event. And then the LCQ, the last chance qualifier, only 2 to complete the 20-rider 250 field. Let's go down to Marty Reed. What's the matter with the champion, Jeff Emig, Marty?
Jeff Emig is coming off his worst race of the year, 14th last time out. He's got 2 problems. 1 mechanical, 1 probably on the mental side. The mechanical problem, the team's not talking about it much, but they've been working on the suspension. The bike just hasn't been handling well for all of the Kawasaki riders. The mental side of this thing is he finished last year so strong winning the outdoor championship that it was very easy. And some people are thinking maybe he didn't realize that when you have that number 1 plate, you've got a big target on your back. And right now, everybody's taking aim square at Jeff Emig.
Art Eckman, David Bailey. You know, one of the surprises this year, David, has been the fact that defending champion Jeff Emig just isn't banging bars with the contenders.
Well, I think he came into the season a little bit unprepared. You know, he's the defending champion, and he has said before that he likes to start the season and not come out too hard and not be able to maintain that pace. And I agree with that. He needs to be there at the end, but the first couple of rounds, he got good results, and I think that was a little bit of luck. And I don't think he's as prepared as he needs to be, because Lusk and Jeremy have really brought the level up, and there's a lot of guys behind them knocking on the door.
He says he's coming off his most embarrassing performance of his career in the Seattle Kingdome, and he knows that tonight he must try and turn things around if he wants to recapture the crown.
Well, last week and the week before, it was just kind of a snowball effect of a lot of different things. You know, one of the things was that we was messing around with the specs on the bike, and it just wasn't working for me. You know, we thought that it was the right direction. It wasn't. The next thing, you know, was just, you know, my head, you know, going through some personal, you know, problems or whatnot, I guess. And, you know, nothing real major, but it just, you know, little things, it just really, you know, just really had my concentration off and my focus off on what I wanted to do. And this week was like, it was a really good week for me. You know, I think I turned everything around. I think I turned around mentally and focused more on the fact that, hey, you know, do you want to be the Supercross champion again? Okay, well, this is what it's going to take. And so maybe, you know, a little more dedication this week. And you know, when I think about it, there's only, was it 12 more races left? And 12 weeks is not that much to dedicate to being the AMA Supercross champion.
What do you think, David Bailey?
I think he may have came into the season thinking he was ready. And there he is lined up right next to Lusk, and everyone stepped up the pace. There's so much depth this year. It's really forcing everyone to push, and Emig may have gotten left a little bit behind where he'd like to be.
32nd board is up. Ezra Lusk second in points. Emig third in points. Damon Huffman, Michael Craig, Doug Henry, Mickael Pichon, Sebastian Tortelli, the winner in Los Angeles, Michael Brown, Lance Smale. Robbie Reynard, a 125 Eastern rider, is warming up for his season. He'll be number 21 here in our first qualifying heat from San Diego. Hart, Roy, DeHaan, Voss, Fournette, Terlecki, Rourke, Birdwell, Kalos, and Chamberlain. The board is sideways. We're almost set now for our first race of the evening. And they're off. Emig gets the edge on Lusk. It is Emig, the whole shot, but right there. And coming forward is Doug Henry, number 19. Henry into second place, and number 13, Michael Craig. It is a triad. Number 15, Huffman in fourth place with Brown and Tortelli. Henry, a crowd favorite, moves in front.
That's a good track, I think, for the four-stroke. Henry looked good in practice. He's one of the first guys to do the triple. They just went over. Power's hooking up early out of the corners. I thought it might be a little too tight, but reminds me a little bit of Vegas, doesn't you, Art?
It sure does. It really does. And Henry is moving out now to a 2.5 lead over Michael Craig and Jeff Emig. The guys on the bubble, it's Damon Huffman and Ezra Lusk finally coming up, getting around Tortelli.
That corner before the finish line, full of all those bumps. It seems like it takes forever to get around, and Henry already opened up the lead. Here comes Emig.
Jeff Emig makes the move. Here comes Ezra Lusk. Lusk moving into third, getting around Michael Craig. Oh, they're knocking on him.
Now, Craig really got bumped there by Emig, and it took him a while to recover. Now here goes Huffman as well. So one little mistake, which was kind of caused by Emig, as he got in there, got aggressive to make the pass, forced Craig to lose 2 spots.
Henry backing off after making a mistake in the whoop, but Emig is not backed off at all.
No, he can't. Look at that. 4 riders just breathing down his neck right now.
Craig has moved back into fourth in front of Huffman and Tortelli.
That section you're getting through, it's not a fun section, believe me. It's very tricky. You see all the riders trying different ways to get through there. Then they get into this corner, which we haven't seen all year.
6 laps to go. Henry, with a 4-second lead on Emig, is just taken away with it. Emig in second, Lusk in third, Craig in fourth.
Beautiful shot over the triple. They're approaching the other triple. This one here, riders haven't been able to jump it. You see they're going for the double right there. Henry, with the lead he's got going the other way on the track, is able to take the outside and jump that, so he's just pulling away.
And number 21, Robbie Reynard, is in a battle with Huffman right now.
Looks like he's going to win that one, and boy, what a great first ride. Haven't seen him yet this year, and I was watching him in practice going, who the heck is number 21?
Yeah.
In a preliminary qualifier, he came out and won it impressively.
The checkers will fly for our first qualifying heat when we return to Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, celebrating 50 years with great deals during Honda's Dream Days. And by Suzuki Motorcycles and ATVs. Now during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories for free and choose from great deals like zero down or low APR financing on selected models. Welcome back to San Diego. In our first qualifying heat, one of the fast bikes, Robbie Reynard, number 21, is down.
Well, just as we were pumping him up, we made a mistake in that battle. That's that tricky section. The exit, look at Lusk.
Here's Lusk moving into second place. Henry is long gone. Doug Henry, Ezra Lusk, Jeff Emig.
Now that Lusk is in the clear around Emig, he'll be able to, as soon as he gets a little lead, he doesn't have to ride defensive, see if he can catch Henry. I think Lusk has got the lap times from what I saw in practice to do it.
He's about 7 seconds in front of Ezra Lusk. Our real battle now is for second place. Ezra backing off. You know, these two mixed it up. Emig colliding with Lusk twice. Once in the qualifying round last week, and then again in the main event, putting him down on the second lap. Lusk finally coming back from 15 to capture second.
Boy, what a beautiful move there. Emig come out of that corner, got on the gas so early. I thought he might have been trying to mess with Lusk a little bit right there, but he was just trying to get a great run at the triple.
As we take a look at the Suzuki field summary, it's Henry, Emig, Lusk, Craig, and Huffman, but only the top 4 go to the main event.
Lusk and Henry have, Emig rather, have gotten together in practice. They've gotten together in some of the races, especially last week, and it kind of looked like Emig maybe a little bit intentionally tried to mess up Lusk, and he ended up going down, had to come from behind. So Lusk is going to want to win this battle.
Well, and these 3 riders behind Doug Henry have it pretty much made if they just hold on 3 more laps here in our opening qualifying round, because they have really separated themselves from Mike Brown, who was in the other spot. Oh, Ezra Lusk is not giving up. What a rivalry this is becoming.
Well, Lusk is going to what? This is a statement right here going into the main event. This is saying who's mentally tougher, who's going to win the fight.
And here comes Michael Craig on the back rubber of Jeff Emig.
And all the battling that Emig and Lusk are doing, it's really psychological. Craig is benefiting.
Mike Craig, number 13. Oh, he took a little hard hit coming in there. He got a third place 2 races ago at Tempe, Arizona.
This is the section where Emig has been cutting it tight. This time he's going to go wide. See Lusk all the way to the inside.
He tries to whip it. Ezra Lusk still with a bike link.
This is the section where Lusk made his pass. Emig is going to go wide and try the triple. Lusk won't be able to do it from the inside.
And he goes for the double as well, Emig.
I think he thought Lusk may have been in the way, or else it's so hard. These guys only have about 30 feet out of the corner to jump 70 feet.
Lusk leaping out of those 2 whoops, the last ones of the string. Out in front, number 19 on the 4-stroke Yamaha is Doug Henry. 2 laps to go. We're getting ready for the white flag. The white flag in the air. Doug Henry is only a lap away from winning this qualifying heat.
Well, everybody that I've talked to about riding a 4-stroke art has said how the bike just has so much traction. It's like riding a 250 with more traction. And right now, in the spots that are still a little bit muddy, that haven't dried up, to be able to hook up like that and jump this triple, 4-stroke is really an advantage.
Last week in the Kingdome in Seattle, Doug Henry made his first podium of the year, placing 3rd. He was at the right place at the right time as Jimmy Button went off the track with about 150 yards to go. And Doug Henry is on his way to winning his 2nd consecutive heat race.
Well, if he hadn't been sick earlier and if he could have just stayed up in L.A., I got to wonder what his season would look like so far.
Starting the season with a good case of the flu. That's not the case here tonight. At the Q in San Diego, Doug Henry wins the qualifying heat. It is Ezra Lusk, Jeff Emig, and Michael Craig. We've got some mighty big names that'll have to go to the semifinals. We'll be right back as we'll be talking with Doug Henry. Marty Reed will make his way over to the podium when we return.
Are you ready?
As we mentioned, these 4 riders getting their chance at the big money, advancing to the main event, but going to the semifinals. Reynard, Huffman, Pichon, and Tortelli. Some big names, as we'll have, well, it looks like a qualifying heat race in the semifinal round coming up a little bit later. Let's go down to Marty now with our winner.
Yes, a very happy Doug Henry. I mean, boy, you fired out like a cannon shot and just pulled away.
Yeah, I got off to a pretty good start. I probably came into the turn maybe 3rd or so, but I was able to jump the triple with Emig, so it got me into 2nd real quick. And I don't know, I just wanted to get up front as soon as I could and try to get a little lead, and it worked out really good for me.
You've really gotten the hang of this 4-stroke, haven't you?
Yeah, it's working really good for me tonight, and it's been working really good, and now I'm finally working good with the bike. So
we'll see if that smile stays on his face come main event time. Good race.
All right, thanks a lot.
Well, it's been obviously publicized very well, the weather conditions they've had here in Southern California, El Nino doing its damage. David Bailey, you live here, you've seen it happen, and I spent a few years in San Diego as well. I never saw rain like this before here.
Well, it's been pretty bad, and I bragged all my friends back east how great the weather is here. Now they're going to see on TV, well, maybe not. The waves are bigger. We're getting a lot of rain. I don't think the waves are going to reach the stadium, and the track designers have done a super job to get the track in here with the limited time, and I think should it rain, they have prepared for the worst.
Dirt Works and Pace Motorsports, boy, they really had to work fast, too, because they had a rock concert. The Rolling Stones were here Tuesday night. They usually get into the stadium on Tuesday to build the track. Boy, they had to work real fast. The crews built this track in 24 hours, adding 20 additional dump trucks to get the dirt in, adding 30 additional staff using 2 crews, 1 at night, 1 in the daytime. They added extra water pumps. The track is built with a crown for runoff. They put extra drainage piping under the low points of this track. They literally did everything they could. And the conditions here in Southern California really opened up Winkler's memory book.
There was a couple times in Atlanta that were unbelievable. I mean, in fact, Barnett was still a rider then instead of helping us build the tracks, but he could tell you too. I mean, there was an event there years ago where several of the guys just got off their bikes and left them standing up in ruts in the track and went back to the pits and gave up. In fact, I think the main was shortened and there were still guys that ran out of gas in the main because the conditions were so soft.
So the beginning moments of what could be a big rainstorm tonight continues. This season for Jeremy McGrath, he says, is fun again. Jeremy says, I got the feeling back.
Well, I've been feeling really good throughout the whole year, you know, with the exception of L.A. I was kind of feeling it around a little bit there. And, you know, my Chaparral Yamaha is working really good, and I've been coming alive here, you know. My confidence is really high and feeling really good. No reason I can't go out there and try and win every week.
So the four-time champion, Jeremy McGrath, getting ready for his qualifying heat here at the Q in San Diego. Along with him, Kevin Windham, the only rider in 4 rounds to have all single-digit finishes. There's Ryan Hughes, another good name. Mike LaRocco, Larry Ward, Greg Albertyn, Jimmy Button, who's coming off a great race. As the fans start to cover up here in the rain, this will certainly affect things on this wonderfully built track. 32nd board is up, down to Marty.
Yeah, guys, the rain is starting to fall, and it's a shame because the track has really come in good after the first heat, and it was looking really fine for this heat, but boy, it's very ominous after all the rain we've had here in Southern California.
And in this qualifying heat, Marty, Steve Lamson coming back from that broken collarbone as we go sideways now. That gate will drop any moment. Let's see how Lammy can do in his first race back. Here's McGrath, the hole shot. He holds on to the lead. There's Albertyn, Windham. Oh, we've got a batch behind them with Hughes, LaRocco, and Larry Ward.
And Button has gone down in the second corner, upside down, will have to come from last. And McGrath, his teammate on the other end, looked like he got shot out of the cannon. I've never seen anyone get such a jump and so much traction. He hooked up perfect.
Greg Albertyn in second place, but Kevin Windham, who's been very consistent this year, is knocking on the door there in third. So it's McGrath, Albertyn, Windham, and Larry Ward with LaRocco on the bubble.
Now the rain started to come down. It came down pretty heavy while they were on the starting line. Now it seems to have completely stopped. But in the shiny spots on the track, that's hard packed. If the rain comes down later, these guys will stay out of that cushion where the bike won't slide around as much.
Ryan Hughes, number 10. You see him on your screen right there. The Kawasaki starting to give Mike LaRocco a little challenge. Looking back, number 4, Larry Ward, to see what's happening to those two. LaRocco and Hughes are battling it out. Jeremy McGrath, number 2, out in front. Number 7 now getting the challenge from Windham. Windham goes wide. 7 cuts in for the battle for second place.
Look at the drive that Windham gets out of that corner to hit the whoops. He doesn't want to follow Albertyn through the corner, so he goes wide, gets a good run, but still not enough. Albertyn's getting through those whoops better and better.
Mike LaRocco, 4 top 5 finishes here in San Diego in the last 7 years. In this first qualifying heat, trying to get a better gate position and transfer directly to the main event.
Nice shot of Windham there in the air, sitting down, putting his leg out, looking like he's just ready for the corner while he's still in the air. Beautiful move. Jeff Ward used to do that.
The leaderboard. The Suzuki leaderboard. Jeremy McGrath, Greg Albertyn, Kevin Windham, Larry Ward, and Mike LaRocco. Only the top 4 get a chance at the main event, big money. The rest, they go to the semifinals.
Another good shot of Albertyn taking the inside before the triple. Windham going wide, jumping it, getting a run at the whoops, but still not able to really get in there and show him a wheel.
Windham, though, starting to apply that pressure, David.
Yeah, the pressure's there, but the way Jeremy's been riding lately and the way that Lusk has been riding lately, that confidence, you're able to stay about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet closer, and that really bothers the guy in front of you. This distance right here, yeah, it doesn't bother you too much. Windham needs to really get in there just like that.
Just as we mentioned, Kevin Windham makes the move, and he is now in second place.
See if he can catch Jeremy now. He goes for the inside just to protect the line. If he'd have gone wide, gone for the triple, Albertyn would have gone in there and taken it away.
3 seconds back with 5 laps to go, David.
Basically, the entire whoop section, which is only taking these guys 3 seconds to get through. Windham's got Jeremy right there in his sights, and that's an inspiration.
You know, Windham is trying to conquer the mental demons, which have been faded. He has not raced poorly. There's no question. He has just not had that great race yet.
Other than Jeremy, he's been the most consistent in practice. I always think he looks great. I've got him in my top 3 every week, but in the race, I don't think he's riding to his potential. He's a little nervous. It's also his first year. He's trying to get through there unscathed the first beginning of the races, and then towards the end of the year, as he gets more comfortable and confident, put on a charge.
The conclusion of our second qualifying heat is 4 more riders will roost to the checkers when we get back. Welcome back to San Diego. Qualifying action for Supercross action. Art Eckman, David Bailey, and Marty Reed. Lamson is currently in 7th place, but our leader right now, way out front now, is Jeremy McGrath with Windham, Albertyn, Ward, Hughes, and LaRocco, the order.
Larry Ward trying to sneak up on his teammate, move up a spot. It'll give him a little bit better pick to the main event on the starting line. Guys, I think, are going to favor the inside. If the rain comes down, they're going to want to be all the way on the inside, unless they got a lot of confidence in getting out early.
Right now, that little sprinkle just made the track even better.
Yeah, it hasn't seemed to affect it at all.
Let's hope it stays to the north of us. It's McGrath with about a 5-second lead on Kevin Windham. Here comes Larry Ward out of the whoop section. Gets the inside, but can't pass his teammate, the Team Suzuki's Greg Albertyn.
He and his mechanic going, dang, I thought he had him there. Hard for the mechanics to see across the racetrack and get down on the level of the floor. I had a chance to go down there earlier, and all the finish line jumps, the triples are so high, it's tough for them to see all the different places. But
as they come over the finish line jump, they take that quick left turn, and you really got to pick up that board quickly.
Yeah, it's also hard for the riders to look over, because you're constantly going to the left, setting up for that little step up to the triple, and to look over there, really you have to completely remove your concentration from the corner. Jeremy, about 1.5 laps to go before he concludes this qualifying heat race. And for McGrath, it would be his 4th heat race victory in a row if he should hold on like he is right now. It's looking good. Windham is closing on him just a little bit. He's pulled away from this battle. But it looks to me like Jeremy's setting a great pace, and Windham's right there with it, just as fast, but let him get away in the beginning, and they haven't changed much since. Well, it's the 2 Team Suzukis, both qualifying with the white flag raving right now. If they should stay in this position for the first time, we've got 2 Team Suzukis making it out of the qualifying round into the main event. Now, that might have a little bit to do with hey, we got to get something started, first of all, and second, Larry Ward having a good run in the last race. Anytime one of the guys on your team does well, gives the rest of the guys a little bit of confidence, too. He brought that audience alive at the Seattle Kingdome when he started in 3rd and ended up in 4th place. Windham in 2nd. Hughes made the move on Ward. Hughes is coming strong, got his first 125 win here. Hughes, number 10. In fact, as a rookie, look at Jeremy McGrath, takes the checkers flag. He's the winner of our 2nd heat race. So it is McGrath, Windham, Albertyn, and Hughes making it out of the 2nd qualifying round. So Marty Reed gets the inside scoop at the victory podium with Jeremy McGrath when we return. Here's how the 2nd heat ended up, and the 4 riders that will be going to the main event. You've got LaRocco, Ward, Lamson, Button. More good riders having to look to the semifinal round, Marty Reed.
Yeah, no, Jeremy's down here. He says, wow, what a start. And also, I saw you at the end of the race checking over your shoulder. You were seeing how far back Windham was, weren't you?
Yeah, you know, the track is not much different. You know, there's not many different lines because it's a little bit wet out there. And they were staying relatively close, and I was trying to put in some good laps and get ready for the main. My start was excellent.
4 heat wins in a row, actually all 4 podium finishes. You are back on track, aren't you?
Well, I tell you what, I'd like nothing more than chaparral Yamaha and Yamaha to dominate out there. You know, I've had a good year so far, and I just want to keep it going. And everything's really flowing right now for our team, and everyone's happy, and that makes a big difference.
You won't make any changes to this bike unless it starts to rain, right?
No, my bike's fine.
Yeah. Is it any wonder, guys? I mean, he pulled away. Jeremy McGrath.
Absolutely. You know, you've got a great opportunity to see Supercross live at a stadium near you. From San Diego, we go north to one of the nation's racing capitals, Indianapolis. Then it's on to the Georgia Dome, Tampa, then Daytona. During Bike Week, the Superdome up to Minneapolis and then to the Gateway to the West before rounding out things in Pontiac, Charlotte, Texas Stadium, ending the season in Las Vegas. Well, after some very fast heat action, we know about McGrath and Lusk. Once again, Henry making his presence, though, in the qualifying heats. Last week we said, look out for the 4-stroke. But I think the 4-stroke reacts better on this track than it did in the Seattle Kingdom.
Well, he already looks better. I think the third place last week gave him a little bit more confidence. He's feeling better. He looked like that first thing this afternoon in practice. Had a much better heat. He had to go through the semi in Seattle, and I think they're praying for the rain. That thing's going to hook up even better if it comes down.
We've got a lot of big names that still haven't made the field. Semi-final action coming up next.
Cents a minute every evening all week long.
Watch Ryan up the inside.
He's making a charge on Michael Craig. Can he get him to the corner? Yes, he can. Craig tries to cut underneath, but Ryan Hughes has the advantage as they go to the triple and head for the finish line jump. It is Ryan Hughes moving into third place. Back to our leader, Jeremy McGrath, as we follow him on the last lap. Over the triple. Only a few feet to go as he takes a look at the checkers for his 5th consecutive victory. He won in Orlando. He won in Minneapolis. He won in Anaheim. He won in Seattle, and now takes number 5 here in San Diego. Well, if you told me yesterday that we'd have a nice track to run on here tonight, I'd say no way. But the track condition is outstanding, and let's take a look at the Suzuki track map, David.
Well, first of all, the start's a little shorter than what we've seen so far, and a really small first corner. That goes right into the first triple. A little tricky on the start. Off to the right, you see a whoop section. That's been eliminated due to the rain, trying to get the track built. Another triple down to the bottom of your screen. That one's tough. The riders don't get a very good run at it. Into the whoop section. A couple of technical sections before that long sweeper up to the finish. That's when giving everyone a lot of trouble. It jumps all the way through there.
30-second board is up for our first semifinal qualifying. Remember, the top 5 riders will get to the main event out of this. We've got Michael Brown, Mickael Pichon, Sebastian Tortelli, Damon Huffman, John Sebastian Roy from Canada, Heath Voss, Lance Snail. Smale is followed by Terlecki, Kalos, Burnett, DeHaan, Hart, Chamberlain, Birdwell, Rourke, and Robbie Reynard, who went down in the qualifying but looked very, very fast, Marty Reed. It's sideways right now. We won't have time to get down to Marty on the floor of the stadium. Let's see who will get the whole shot in our first semifinal round. Huffman and Michael Brown cuts the corner, but look at there. Number 16, Mickael Pichon. Pichon, I think, is the fastest Suzuki rider on the Team Suzuki.
Well, he seems like he's got the most potential. Larry Ward's got the best result, but Pichon certainly looks fast.
As far as speed, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Pichon has definitely been riding good all the way up until the main events, and he just hasn't been able to put it all together just yet.
It was back in 1993 that Mickael Pichon, I think he was on a Cowie at the time, or maybe a Honda. He was on a Honda in San Diego here. First opened some eyes with his first ever 125 win. It was on a Honda. That was 1993. And Mickael Pichon leading the semifinal round with Michael Brown in second, Tortelli in third, and Huffman in fourth.
Well, the way Huffman went into the first corner, he came from about the middle of the starting line, had a great angle on it. I thought he had the whole shot for sure. Just couldn't quite hang on to it. That's going to be the story all night. The guy that gets the whole shot, not necessarily the guy that comes out there first.
One of our big battles is right on the cusp with Robbie Reynard and Sebastian Roy battling for that 5th spot. You see Tortelli 103. There's Huffman, number 15, going wide.
It'd be good to see Tortelli get back in it. Prove that LA wasn't a fluke. I'm sure he'd like to prove some of that. He didn't do quite as good in Houston as he did at the opening round, but this guy's a great rider. The more we get a chance to see him perform, the more he's going to be able to prove that.
Pichon, Michael Brown, Tortelli over the finish line jump. Huffman, Sebastian Roy, and number 21 is Robbie Reynard. Reynard, injury-plagued career after being one of the most decorated amateurs. Let's go down to Marty Reed.
Yeah, guys, talked to Robbie's crew chief right before the start of the race. I said, well, any side effects from that crash? He said, yeah, well, he landed on his crazy bone. And he says he's got a little bit of numbness, but he should be all right. So far, he seems to be riding pretty well.
Robbie Reynard putting the challenge to Sebastian Roy. Reynard to the Primal Suzuki. There he goes, making the pass. That's the final transfer spot to the main event.
That's a great example of the way the track designers set up that section and give you different options, completely different timing through that set up that pass by Robbie. Heads up to cut back to the inside right there and make a move.
Back with the winner. And 5 more riders on their way to the main event. More coming up from the queue in a moment. Back right in the middle of the action. We've got a good battle going as Pichon out in front of this semifinal qualifying round. Michael Brown in second. Tortelli was giving challenge to Michael Brown. Brown coming back from the GP in Europe, and Tortelli bobbles there. Now this is the first race for Sebastian Tortelli coming off an injury.
Right. A couple little mistakes here. He actually had made the pass on Brown heading into the triple. Then he made a big mistake there, came up short. He's off his timing. Then another one let Huffman get around.
Huffman won here in the 125 West, number 15. And after 2 tough races to open the season, he's put back-to-back 5th place rides in the books. Looking to break through, though, here tonight and make a great run of it. Number 15, Damon Huffman. Team Kawasaki, Sebastian Tortelli. As you see on our leaderboard, Suzuki leaderboard, Tortelli in 4th, Robbie Reynard in the final qualifying spot.
And Tortelli that time going for the triple there right behind Huffman. It's important, I think, for these guys to get out there and make a run at that, see what it feels like, because in the main event, if you get out in the clear, you're going to need to do it. Guys, whoever wins this race is going to be jumping that triple. Unless it's pouring rain. And they won't be jumping either one.
And then throw it all out, right?
Yeah.
Rain is the equalizer in Supercross. Some crazy things happen. The white flag lap now. Pichon is already over that finish line jump, followed by Michael Brown. There you see Huffman and Tortelli. Well, Tortelli, the winner in the damp conditions in Los Angeles in the opener, really was surprised everyone. He's only running a partial schedule before going over to the GP in Europe.
And he's a little bit like Huffman to me. There he is going over the triple again. He'll go wide, get a good run at the whoops. Both he and Huffman come on strong later in the race. And last week, Huffman just seemed to come out of nowhere, really putting on a charge towards the end.
This race really defined the first 5 riders way out in front of the pack. And here's Mickael Pichon. The checkered flag is up. It's waving in the air for Mickael Pichon. We'll run down the official 5-place finishers. Those guys who get the transfer to the main when we return. Welcome back to San Diego Supercross action. The results of our semifinal round: Mickael Pichon, Michael Brown, Damon Huffman, Sebastian Tortelli, and Robbie Reynard, the 125 rider, making it into the top 5. Let's go down to Marty.
Yeah, down here with a very happy Mickael Pichon, and it looks to me like this is the best you've ridden since the crash at Houston.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, since my crash, I wasn't riding too good, and I was getting a terrible start, and this time I got a good jump out the gate, and everything went very good. I'm happy with, I had a good lead, so I was not doing a couple of things compared to the best guys, so with a little lead, I tried to do some stuff, and I'm pretty happy. I have good lines, and actually, I think that was good for me to go to the semifinal.
Did you learn something out there that you want to share with us?
I didn't learn too much. I mean, I found some good lines, but I want to keep it for me, and I hope that it's going to work out for the main event.
Well, I tried, guys, but he just won't let those secrets out of the hat. We'll see him in the main.
Steve Lamson back from the injury. Let's go down to Marty Reed.
He had a great season over in Japan. Everything looked like it was on track for Steve Lamson. Then all of a sudden, before the first race, number 17 went down with a broken collarbone, and it has been a very long recovery. This is his first race back, and he talked about his expectations.
Right now I just want to get through the weekend with the, it's hard to say, what I want to finish. I want to be in the top 5, but I don't know if that's realistic for the first race back, because I know everyone's got a good pace going right now, and but hopefully, hopefully I'll be in the top 5.
Steve Lamson here in the second semifinal, ready to get things underway, hoping to qualify for the main event. Mike LaRocco also in this field, along with Larry Ward, Bill Lawrence. Tim Ferry has put in some fine appearances. The 32nd board is up. Jimmy Button, who went down in the qualifying heat, is trying to still qualify for the main event.
There's Larry Ward last week. Great performance, and what really set that up was a good start. Most of the guys I've talked to have been really surprised by how far down in the field they're finishing. They say when you get about a 10th or 15th place start, you just can't make up any ground.
The nerves really working as they eye that 32nd board. And it is now sideways. We're ready to go for our second semifinal qualifying action. He got the hole shot, but can he hold on now? It's Button, number 11, right behind him. Larry Ward is next, number 4. Number 96 is Corey Keeney, battling with Ward.
Well, Button had just enough, a little closer to Lamson, I think, than Steve thought. He went wide there to get a run at the triple, and Button just went right in there and stole it.
Button showing some tremendous talent last week. Running in second place almost the entire race. He led the first 4 laps before Jeremy passed him, of course, in the Seattle Kingdom. Then was second all the way until about 150 yards from the finish line. He just made a crucial mistake, went from second to 6th. What a heartbreaking move. But he does have the confidence behind him, David Bailey, that he can ride well. And it was interesting to see the two teammates ride together.
It was great to see that. They rode together in practice. I'm sure they practiced during the week a little bit together, and it looked like they got out there and felt pretty comfortable. And once Jeremy got around, Jimmy didn't fall that far behind. Rode a really strong race.
Larry Ward just cut in front of Steve Lamson. Here comes Tim Ferry as well. Remember, the top 5 will make it to the main event.
Ward just sailed into those whoops. He went in there. Obviously, you got to be comfortable to just take off in there hard in second gear to skim the tops like that.
So we've got a good battle, even though they're in already qualifying positions.
Ferry hanging tight with this group. It's going to make him feel good to get up there and run with the leaders. He's won a semi this year. So.
Yes, he has. And that was in the second race of the year in the Houston Astrodome.
So many guys this year that can get a good start and have a breakthrough event. The way the track is here tonight, some of the corners open. Not everybody able to get over the 1 triple. It's going to be an opportunity for somebody to break in there again this week.
Our Suzuki leaderboard, Jimmy Button out in front of the semifinal class, along with Larry Ward in second place. Pretty much of a freight train right now. But Corey Keeney and Takashi Koikita are starting to move up and battle each other. We'll find out who wins that battle when we return.
What's the right grip feel like?
It's Jimmy Button of Team Chaparral Yamaha. Oh, and Button darn near said goodbye to his bike. Marty.
Well, guys, you talked about how he had the misfortune with about 100 feet to go in last week's final. But talking to him, he was not down. I mean, he was looking at the positives. He says, hey, I'm making improvements. Every time out, I'm riding better. I know that working with Jeremy and the entire Yamaha team is paying big dividends. So far, he's doing real well here.
Mike LaRocco's in 8th place, and Lawrence is in 10th. Those are two very well-known riders who are in danger now of going to the last chance qualifier. Only 2 riders can make it to the main event and make money. You got to get to the main event to make money. The instructions by the mechanic of Jimmy Button.
Sometimes looking at that signal board, you're like, okay, what was that say? With the viewer, that's P1, first place, plus nothing, a big 0.
How do you look at him pointing at your head, Brian Keeney, and looking at the sign at the same time?
Well, they want to get your attention. A lot of arm motion gets them looking in your direction. I'd have my mechanic with the biggest pit board and the loudest outfit, just so I could see him.
Jimmy Button, the first chaparral rider ever to make the podium. That was last year in Minnesota when he took a 3rd place. Here's the battle for 3rd going on. Little block there by Tim Ferry. And he decides to say goodbye. The white flag is out.
Lamson right there looked like he got caught going into that right-hander and set it up for Ferry. It looked like he just didn't charge in there hard enough, and he left the door a little bit too open. Ferry went in there and made as polite of a block pass as he could.
Lamson, of course, trying to stay in condition, even though that broken collarbone wouldn't allow him to ride. That's got to be a tough thing, David Bailey. I know you've gone through rehab similar to that as we look at our final lap.
Yeah, it's tough to come back from an injury, and you know, he doesn't really factor into the points here. So as long as he makes the main event, makes progress, stays healthy for the outdoors, I think that's all Honda really expects out of him right now.
So we're on the final lap. Mike LaRocco. It looks like we'll have to go. The checkered flag is out. Let's see if Mike LaRocco can get around in time. I don't believe he will. Ferry comes across. Lamson comes across. We'll get the official roster of the top 5 riders and see who will actually be going to the LCQ out of this second semifinal round when we return. Taking a look at the slow motion now from our second semifinal round. Jimmy Button comes across the finish line jump with a slight celebration as we take a look at the top 5. These 5 making it to the main event. Jimmy Button, Larry Ward, Tim Ferry, Lamson, and Mike LaRocco at the last second, edging out to prevent from going to the LCQ. Now, riders like Jeremy McGrath, we've seen win a race coming out of the LCQ, but not very many. Let's go down to Marty Reed.
Yeah, down here with a not even winded Jimmy Button. I mean, you made this one look pretty easy.
Yeah, it was really good. I got a good start, and I wanted to go out and get a good start and get into the lead and get away from those guys. I made a little mistake in the heat race and got bumped around. I ended up going down, so I wanted to get away and, you know, be able to go out and do 6 good laps, ride a good pace, you know, and just get a good race line going for the main event. So I was real fortunate that my chaparral 1-800 Collect Yamaha got me out there and got me a good start, got me to the lead.
We talked about the fact that you looked at last week's disappointment and you could have taken the negative approach, but that you turned it into a positive.
Yeah, it's real positive. It was the first time I'd been up front for so long in a main event, so I made a couple of mistakes last couple of laps, but it was another stepping stone for me, and you know, hopefully tonight get a good start in the main event. We can put it together. Hopefully we can take your 1-2 this weekend.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on you. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Marty. Our next visit with you on ESPN2 comes from Indianapolis on February 20th. That'll be a 7:30 airtime Eastern time with a 4:30 time out west. I'm Prudhomme and Larry Dixon with us, joining us up here in the press box. And Snake, unbelievable success in the Winter Nationals. Now you're not behind the wheel, but you're driving it. You're driving the team. You're the owner.
Yeah, it looks that way. I tell you, I'm having the time of my life with Larry Dixon in our Miller car, and of course Ron Capps won with the funny car. It was a big time weekend, the kind you dream about as a car owner.
It's great, too, to have a guy with so much experience, huh? Or is it? Does he climb on you a little?
No, it's awesome because there isn't anything that he hasn't done behind the wheel or behind the car or anything. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure off of me. I just let him run the show, and I just try and stab the throttle.
Snake, one of your old buddies, he knows a lot of stories on you, too, is down at the floor of the stadium, Marty Reed. Marty?
Yeah, well, some of those stories we can't share with those at home. Hey, the one thing I got to ask you, Snake, one thing I never knew, did you ever ride motorcycles in this kind of a concept, flying through the air?
Oh, yeah, of course. I was Jeremy McGrath. You know, I could just smoke him off like it was nothing. Are you kidding? Yes, yeah, as kids, yeah, that motocross, you bet, man. It was everything to us. And coming out here to San Diego tonight's really a thrill. You know, I really dig this motocross stuff. And, of course, Dixon and Caps are all into it. So it's a great evening.
Larry, I got to take this opportunity. Congratulations to you, Ron, and Snake. But speed, we're talking 320 miles an hour now in your top fuel machine. Is it getting a little frightening?
Not for me.
Yeah, so he's on the starting line. I tell you, the fastest I've gone is only 319 miles an hour, so I feel like I'm slow when the national record's 321. So, I mean, that's our goal. We want to run 325 this year, and we got a new crew chief, Dale Armstrong, and he's got some new parts, some tricks up his sleeve, and we think we can do it.
Marty, they just put some whoops on it. It might make things real interesting.
Hey, these guys get enough air when they get those wheels up. I'm sure Larry doesn't need that. Congratulations, good luck, and say hi to Double A Dale for me.
Thanks, Marty.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot for being with us. While we were away, Phil Lawrence and Jean-Sebastian Roy, 1 and 2 in the LCQ, the last chance qualifier. Final 2 riders making the 250 main event. Right now you see David Vuillemin, number 934. This is supposed to be a parade lap. He's putting on a show for the fans. Before you'd ask Vuillemin about having to run a short Supercross schedule because he had to get back to Europe, right, for the GPs. He was very businesslike. But now, there is no schedule conflicts, and his eyes really light up at the chance of winning an AMA #1 plate.
Yeah, because I can come back from Minneapolis, so it's a good news for me. And I will do my best in San Diego before I leave to France, and train a little bit in France to have a good feeling in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and in Dallas.
The Frenchman, Vuillemin, has dominated, winning the last 3 races, but he's only 2 points ahead of John Dowd. Frenchman Stefan Roncada is only 9 back. Pingree and Brandes rounding out the top 5. And Marty Reed, Dowdy seems to be in a mental vice right now.
Well, I think you're right on, because I had a chance to talk to him before today's race, and he says, I don't understand it right now. He says, I'm very relaxed during practice, but when it comes time to race, I'm tightening up. He tightened up a little bit in the heat. I was watching him during this warm-up lap, whereas Vuillemin was doing heel clickers. He was very methodical, looking like he was trying to study everything right down to the last letter. And David, you can comment better on this than anybody. If you're not relaxed and focused, I mean, you really got a problem on this track.
It's really tough. The track here is tight. It's very technical. And, you know, Dowd seems to have been having that problem, and I think it's not a big problem, but in the 250 class, Windham's having kind of the same thing. And what I would do is just change my tactics a little bit and change my approach during the week. Practice more intense, and then in practice sessions at the race, he says he's relaxed. Yeah, but get out there and ride with Vuillemin. Go out there and ride with the fastest guys and get used to what you're going to have to do in the main. If you want to be in it, you got to ride with those guys and try to acclimate yourself more.
Stefan Roncada, as opposed to Vuillemin, is the last to get into the gate as we take a look at the starting grid. Number 18, Roncada, joining his... Here's the Suzuki starting grid with Roncada, Schnell, Dowd, Ramsey, Brian Deegan, Yuri Dostal from Czechoslovakia on a Suzuki. Guy Cooper, number 115. 30 board is up. So Vuillemin, Roncada, Pingree, Schnell, Huffman, Dowd, Brandes, Ramsey, Perlilli, Perolio, Preston, Cooper, Willow, Vallejo, Dostal, Pestana, Deegan, and Johnson. They're ready to go in the 125 main from San Diego. We've got the longest 30-second board in the history of the United States, I think, here in San Diego. It goes sideways. We're just about set to go. There you see the dominating points leader, number 934, right next to Dowd. And it is the king of hole shots, number 28 in the 125s, Ryan Huffman. But look who's taking advantage of him. Out in front we go with Greg Schnell, number 85, who looks so good in the heat race. And then it's John Dowd right behind him.
And Vuillemin is in 12th. He's moving up fast, but he took off in 12th. Dowd got a jump out of the gate, stuck his elbow out, got it pitched off.
In 15 laps, that's plenty of time for Vuillemin, of course, to catch up. But it's right now interesting to see that lead pack. Here comes Dowd. Well, he jammed it a little bit. So Schnell, who's running very, very smoothly, is out in front with Dowd, and then Ryan Huffman and Roncada, along with Pingree in that order. Number 35 is Ramsey.
Really was impressed with the way Schnell rode in the heat race. Looking strong, got a great start, and this is a real opportunity for Dowd, but only doubling right there, loses the spot.
Vuillemin already up to 7th place.
He can already see the leaders. He's just in the top of your shot right there in the blue. He's not far enough behind.
Schnell out of Rancho Cucamonga. That's just east of Los Angeles, I believe. Last time I went through there.
Roncada getting a good start, but not really able to capitalize. A couple little mistakes in the first lap.
And look at there, Ryan Huffman is now in front of John Dowd. Ryan Huffman on the Primal Suzuki.
This is when you got to attack. You come out warmed up, ready to go. John Dowd has been having trouble getting out there and getting right to it in these main events, and Huffman took it to him right there, catch him by surprise, forced him to make a pass later.
Vuillemin is in 6th.
What's happening to Dowd is he's watching Schnell get away, and he probably feels like he should be able to beat Schnell. That messes with your head a little bit. Then Huffman comes and gets by him. Roncada's knocking on the door, and Vuillemin's coming as well. So he talks about being nervous. This will do it to him.
Schnell is our leader. His best appearance was a 4th in Houston. Huffman, his best performance of the year was a 4th in Los Angeles. He's in 2nd right now, holding up really John Dowd and Roncada, it looks like. Dowd looking for a way to get around Huffman. John Dowd to the outside over the finish line jump. Huffman looks back. Roncada just seemingly just waiting for the opportunity. Then Pingree and then Vuillemin. Vuillemin is on the way to overtaking number 29, Pingree.
Now here Dowd squared that corner, put himself to the inside, but got to get in there and get just a little bit more aggressive. If he had just a wheel closer on him there, he might have been able to make a block pass.
Schnell goes to the inside. He makes the pass on Pingree. He's moving up. Boy, they got a pack of riders, though, in front of him. If he's going to win this one, he's got to break through.
That's a tricky section right there. All these guys are just bunched up. If you're leading that pack, you don't know where to go. If you go inside, they go wide, get a run. If you go wide, they block past you.
Will Vuillemin continue his climb up through this field to the 125 main event? Can Schnell hold on? We'll find out when we come back. AMA Supercross is being brought to you by Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Quality training for the motorcycle industry. And they're revving up and they're off.
James Dowd looked like he was trying to anticipate it.
Number 73 is Willow, Jeff Willow. Let's see how they can close up the gap right now as we look back at the lappers in front of Willow. Number 73 has to go to the outside. How's it going to affect his ride? Is Ashkenazi staying inside? Now is forced to move to the outside. Ashkenazi to the outside. inside, but Willow gets a good break there.
Well, I thought that Ashkenazi might be able to get a good run at that triple from the outside, maybe past Willow, but too late.
And Willow, number 73, from Glendale, California, is our winner. Ashkenazi is second. It will be Dowd crossing the finish line in third. We're back to the 125 main, round 5 of AMA Supercross 125 Western Division. The support race is underway. Schnell, Dowd, here comes Roncada. Roncada makes the move into second place, and Vuillemin makes the move into fourth.
Dowd just made a little bobble getting out of the corner. Roncada was following him, but was able to just move over just slightly, make the move.
This is the break Roncada really has been looking for. A second place in Los Angeles, a fifth in Houston, a third in Phoenix, and a second last week in Seattle. He needed a good start. He has not been able to get a great start on the season. But if he can overtake Schnell and get some room with 10 laps to go on Vuillemin, maybe, just maybe, another Frenchman would win here in the 125s.
Now they got a good chance at it. Vuillemin is right behind Dowd now. Dowd that time again going for the double. Not sure what's going on there. He needs to position himself so he can get over that triple every time.
Vuillemin now in fourth. His target right here on the Suzuki leaderboard is John Dowd. Greg Schnell, still our leader. He's got a 1-second lead, though, on Roncada. Ramsey has moved into fifth.
Well, it's just the opposite of the way it was in their heat race. Roncada lead match, Schnell staying close the whole way. Start making a lot of difference. You get out front, ride smart, protect your line. You can hold people off because the track here in San Diego is pretty tight.
Vuillemin working his magic right now.
Well, he's going to change the complexion of this race up front because his presence will make people nervous. He's going to push John Dowd, I think. It'll be the wake-up call he needs.
Making the move on Dowd, getting closer and closer, trying to get the angle. He's got 3 wins in a row. A 7th in Los Angeles, but he had the flu during that time, and he never really brought it up. Never used it as an excuse until later on after he got his first win.
This is when Dowd has to respond. This is the points leader. He's trying to hold off. He's got to hold him off, get those points back. He's got to get up to the leaders.
Vuillemin pounding John Dowd, Marty Reed.
Yeah, one of the problems that we're noticing down here, guys, is that the mechanics area is far off the race line, and these guys are having a tough time getting their message boards out where their riders can see them. So some of these guys may be sort of riding half blind.
You know, another thing, Roncada, just as I was going to say it, David, it's about time he made a move on Schnell because Vuillemin is making up too much time on him.
Well, he knows he's coming. He can glance over his shoulder and see it. That, like I said, would change the complexion of the race. The presence of Vuillemin winning 3 in a row and how fast he goes. Seems to be in a league all by himself. Having to come through the pack has really made this a great race.
So the Frenchman from Lyon, Stefan Roncada, is our leader with Schnell in second, John Dowd in third. Dowdy, he's inspired. He's taken to the inside, catches a toe in the dirt, and takes over second place.
It's a great time to do it, but then there goes Vuillemin at the same time. Schnell making a mistake. What Dowd was trying to do was get around Schnell and use him as a buffer to hold Vuillemin back a little bit longer. Maybe he can get up there and dice with Roncada, but now
7 laps to go.
He's going to have to be fighting off Vuillemin everywhere.
Vuillemin with Dowd in front of him, Roncada trying to make some time. They're picking up on a lapper, Jason McCormick, who has a bad case of the flu. And he's just trying to ride out this main event.
Roncada all the way around the very inside of that corner. That's going to pay off a little later as the laps wind down.
6 laps to go. Can Vuillemin somehow get around 2 riders to win his 4th in a row? We'll be right back. Welcome back to our 125 main event. John Dowd inching closer to Stefan Roncada. It's a test of endurance right now and a test of strength for Roncada.
I think he feels like he's ready to Take these guys all the way to the last lap. He's got it in him. He's ridden strong at a lot of the races, but hasn't got the best start, hasn't had this opportunity, and I think he feels confident in his ability. You see, he's holding that inside line right there. It's so hard to pass, but if you drift wide, you can let the guy sneak in there. You don't want to get past in the last corner.
5 laps to go. Down to the outside on Riccata. Oh, Dowdy almost got it.
That's one of the sections on the track. Oh, Ron Cotto only going for the double.
And they go rubber to rubber right now. Let's see if they can scratch a little plastic. Here comes Vuillemin. Vuillemin making a move on Dowd. You don't know which rider to look at one time.
This whoop
Here
section.
comes Vuillemin.
This whoop section could mean the difference. The guys that get a good run at it out of the corner, get a little braver towards the end, are going to really be able to make up some time through there.
Ramsey moves into 4th in front of Schnell now, but our attention is out in front with 3 riders just riding their hearts out. Riccata, Dowd, Vuillemin in that order.
They're going as hard as they can go, and right now Ramsey is actually making up time on them, so this could become a 4-way battle at the very end.
And the laps are winding down. Here comes Dowd on Riccata. They're going for the triple there, all 3 of them.
Brian Berry telling Dowd to get me.
Here comes Dowdy on the outside. Oh, he just can't quite get the angle on Riccata. We've got some lappers in front, though. Let's see what line they pick. Riccata to the inside. Dowd, Vuillemin cuts in front of Dowd. Dowd to the outside. The lappers will get in the way, and Vuillemin is nosed out. He's boxed out right now.
This is a great fight.
Here comes Dowd on Riccata. Bar to bar. Vuillemin cuts inside, and they both bar to bar by him. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Dowd actually had to move his elbow in to keep from locking bars with Riccata there.
Dowdy gets the jump, takes the lead.
Oh, that'll make Brian Berry happy. Get mean. That's what he was talking about.
3 laps to go.
And look at Ramsey right there.
Taking on Vuillemin, David Bailey.
They've both gotten by Riccata. One mistake.
They almost scraped the plastic. Okay, now it's John Dowd. Vuillemin in 2nd place. Ramsey battling it out now with Riccata. Vuillemin.
The last thing Dowd wants to see in his side mirror is Vuillemin breathing down his neck. If that could just be Riccata or somebody else, it'd be a little bit better the way Vuillemin's ridden lately.
Dowdy trying to hold on for his 6th career 125 win, his 2nd of the season. Dowd with 2 laps to go. Vuillemin, though, riding smoothly, looking for opportunity.
Well, what it comes down to now, Art, is the guy that doesn't make a mistake, the guy that makes the best decision through the lappers and wants it the most. This is where you really have to use your head. You can go back to the pits later on and just go, man, why did I make that one mistake that cost you the whole race?
It goes back to what Marty was saying, David. Will he tense up?
Well, he has answered, and that gives you so much confidence. The adrenaline's pumping. He got passed by Vuillemin, passed him right back, took over the lead. He's got to be on a high right now.
Weeding through the lappers, Marty.
Well, the one thing he's doing, guys, is he's taking different lines. Remember, he talked about last time, white flag out, that he was staying in the same line lap after lap. He's riding a great race.
Dowd, battling, reaching back. Can he hold off the flying Frenchman?
That was important right there to make that triple. Try to keep a little bit of a gap on Vuillemin before they enter any of these sections where Vuillemin's got a chance. The whoops would be one play. Got a great battle between Riccata and Ramsey. Riccata off the track.
And Ramsey continues on now in 3rd, but Vuillemin has picked up some space on Dowd here in the final lap. We've got tons of lappers in front. Which line will he take? The rhythm section. Climbing up. Congested turn. Dowd, Vuillemin. Coming close. John Dowd sees the checkers waving. Dowdy has come back in great style. What a race in a 125s. I don't see how we could match a race like this in the 250s coming up at our main event. The big superstars, these kids have really done a great job. So it's Dowd, Vuillemin, Ramsey on the podium. Roncada edged out, and Schnell holding on in a top 5 performance. Oh, my goodness. What a discussion this is going to be as Marty Reed makes his way over to the victory podium. John Dowd, I've never seen him so excited.
I don't know if he's ever been so excited. This was a huge mental victory for him. Now we're seeing some of the same antics we've seen from Vuillemin. It's a big thrill to win, and when you win a close race like that, there's nothing like it.
Dowd came into this race only 2 points behind Vuillemin, despite Vuillemin's 3 consecutive victories. He now has taken over the points lead by 1 point. We'll be right back in a moment. Art Eckman along with David Bailey and Marty Reed. And David, take a look at this.
Well, this was the battle between Roncada and Ramsey. Ramsey won that one. Roncada had to go off the racetrack, rode the whole side of the track down there. He didn't pick up a position, so I don't think he'll be docked from that.
John Dowd, Vuillemin, and Ramsey on the podium with Roncada and Schnell rounding out the top 5. And as we look at 6 through 10 of the official finishes, let's check in with Marty Reed, who's made his way over to that podium now.
Very happy, John Dowd. We talked about it before the race. You said your confidence, your ability or inability to relax, and you weren't trying different lines. Boy, you changed everything tonight.
Yeah, I felt like a different person out there tonight. I just, I felt like I was kind of moving around the track and, just doing different things. And that's one thing I haven't been doing, the last couple of races. And, I think that's, what hurt me out there is not getting a good start and not being able to get out and try different stuff. And it just kept me back.
Yeah, but you did 2 things that you hadn't done recently. You were able to pass to get to the lead, then you were able to defend.
Yeah, well, I kind of liked being behind a little bit at first. I was trying some different stuff behind them guys and sort of seeing what was working. And, once I finally got around for the lead, I kind of, tried using the faster lines that I found before.
Well, great win. Let's move right next door. Second place, David Vuillemin. David, 3 wins in a row, second now. Points battle is still nip and tuck between you two. What was the difference in this race, in your opinion?
I did not a very bad start, and it was difficult because it's a one-line track a little bit because there's so many ruts. And John and I start far, and he did a good race. I did a little bit more mistakes than him, and it's why I finished second. And I was not so fast to beat him tonight. And it's why I finished second, but I'm happy with the race with a bad start.
Yeah, but now you're still in this battle. It looks like it's going to come down on this division between the 2 of you. Is that the way you size it up now?
Yeah, because Stefan got only a 4th position, and it's why I take a second place now. John is leading the championship, so it will be a good battle between both of them.
Well, thank you. Good run, and still a great battle for the points. And now let's bring Nathan Ramsey in here real quick. Nathan, I got to tell you, you guys have had a real tough season so far. This has got to be a big boost.
Oh yeah, for sure. As you can tell, the first few races didn't go like I wanted them to. I came out really hard, and I felt really fast. I just kind of fell, and then for the last 2 races, I kind of backed it down, and I think that's not my style. I'm kind of on the edge, go for it rider, so that's what I got to do. And I feel like I'm back, and I feel strong, and I think that next time I'll get a good start and see what I can do then.
Well, next time, guys, is Indianapolis.
Ramsey adding 20 points to his points chase, and but we look at the top, and that's where John Dowd has reestablished himself as the points leader. And of course, in the regional divisions of 125, the West and the East, you don't have 16 races for a season. You have 7 for the West and 8 for the East. This time, it's important that you get the edge. The time has come now when the sport's very best go at it for 20 laps, non-stop action. McGrath, Lusk, Emig, LaRocco, and their friends. back in San Diego, California. Art Eckman along with David Bailey. And David, I don't know if we could get anything more exciting than what we just saw in the 125s.
Well, I think we have the makings of it because it's the design of the racetrack that's so tight and so technical, and it's pretty wide open and a lot of decisions to make, different ways to do the obstacles. I think that keeps it close, and you got Windham up there running strong. Henry's in there to add to the Lusk McGrath show. I think we could look at the same thing again.
And we've been extremely lucky, especially when you consider the weather of the past few days here in the Southern California area. Marty Reed, how's that track looking?
I'll tell you guys, it's in excellent shape. Now, it may be in certain areas a one-groove racetrack where you're going to have to stick your nose in and sort of fight your way through the corner. But right now, I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better, especially with the forecast the way it was supposed to be with our good old friend El Nino.
With his first win of the season, Jeremy McGrath leads Lusk by 12 points as we take a look at the Suzuki point standings. Emig slipping 22 back. Windham and LaRocco rounding out the top 5 with Huffman, Craig, Hughes, Ward, Pichon, and Henry all knocking on the door for top 5 positions. The parade lap taken by most of the riders. You see number 3, Ezra Lusk, going toward the gate area right now. The starting grid, including Doug Henry in that 4-stroke. I got to think that if Jeremy McGrath gets the kind of start he did in the heat race, David Bailey, that's a big factor on this track to the start.
Well, he got out of the gate so good in the heat race. I think even if he gets out of there worse, that's still going to look like a hole shot for him. And this kind of track really plays in his favor. The tighter it gets and the more technical it gets, the more McGrath shines. And the way he rode the heat race, if he gets a start, I think he's goodbye. Win number 2.
Jeremy McGrath is having fun again. Ezra Lusk. Jeremy says that Ezra is the only guy that he doesn't have covered in this field.
My reaction to Jeff's race last weekend was as, different as anyone's. I mean, I was really surprised and couldn't understand it, and especially after I heard that he hadn't fall down. So, I mean, maybe he just had he wasn't thinking clearly, had a bad race. We can all have those, and I mean, the fastest guy, the guy right now is not Jeff Emig. He's the #1 guy, and he's the, the guy that's a champion from last year. But Ezra seems to be the guy to gun for right now.
I'd have to agree. I mean, I feel like I got the strongest bike and the strongest physical fitness, and mentally I just feel wonderful. I mean, I feel like I can come from anywhere and finish wherever, unless Jeremy obviously gets a start like he did last week. But Jeremy's a great champion, and I look forward to a lot of battles with him in the future. And I'm sure all this whole deal is going to come down to me and Jeremy, because he's been riding the best, and he's the guy that that I'm looking at right now.
Mike Gosler, his mechanic, putting the goggles on. The excitement starts to build. Jeff Emig needing a win to get back into the title chase. 52,007 fans here in San Diego. And the sign is sideways. Look out. Who will get the break here at the start? Jeremy McGrath gets a great start in front of Lusk. Jeremy McGrath with another great start. Number 19, Doug Henry, though, is right there on the 4-stroke.
Lawrence going down to the first corner, also collecting Damon Huffman and Tortelli. So those guys all the way at the back of the pack. McGrath, so clever through that first corner. Not only did he get there first, but he went around the corner. Beautiful, squirted off that little tabletop and make sure he had a good run at the triple.
Ezra Lusk in 5th spot, not that far back. We could still have a great challenge later in the race. McGrath. And then Henry on the 4-stroke with Windham right on Henry's tail. Then it's Greg Albertyn and Ezra Lusk. Ryan Hughes, Jimmy Button, Michael Craig.
This is set up beautiful because Jeremy and Doug Henry were definitely the fastest guys so far tonight in their heat races, each picking up the win. Windham was right there, staying pretty even with McGrath.
inside. Kevin Windham.
Good place for the move. Caught his teammate a little bit off guard right there, set up for the triple, went right in there and took it away. Now, just like in the heat race, Windham second to McGrath. This time we'll see with the amount of laps they got to cover this time if he can catch it.
Kevin Windham making some breakthroughs right now, and here's a switch now back. Doug Henry makes the move on his Team Yamaha teammate, Marty Reed.
Well, a couple of things. While those two Yamahas are duking it out, it's allowing Jeremy to pull away. But the other thing is that Kevin Windham, remember, you guys talked about it in the 125 final, that he's been a little tight in this finals, and he was the first man that went up to John Dowd to talk to him about that race and that big victory.
Windham not racing here in '96, the last race that was staged in San Diego. He had a broken collarbone at the time that he sustained in practice, and it was the only 125 he missed.
Lusk blitzing through those whoops, getting by Albertyn, staying in contact with the leaders. He's got to move with the two Yamaha teammates. McGrath is getting away.
Ezra Lusk has proved he can come from a long way back. He did it at Sun Devil Stadium to beat Jeremy McGrath. But he had too far to come back last week in the Seattle Kingdom. Incredible, though, what he did was he got a second-place finish. Ezra Lusk trying to make up the space. Jeremy McGrath now has not let up. He knows he's got the charge.
Well, McGrath is able to jump this triple every lap as Lusk just went for it as well. You've got to go wide to do it, and he's got enough room to go out there and take that line.
Henry losing ground to McGrath.
McGrath just getting away about a quarter of a second a lap. That adds up. This ride is perfect. He's charging so hard every inch of the racetrack. He looks like it's the first 10 feet of the race.
On my watch, it's a 4-second lead for Jeremy McGrath as he comes across the finish line. 16 laps to go in our 250 main event from San Diego. Henry makes the corner with Windham and Lusk in that order. Albertyn is still behind Lusk.
Windham right there, this would be his best finish yet. So I have to think this is another stepping stone for him. I think he's a smart kid. He knows that to go out and take a lot of chances and try to ride a little bit over his head to go after Jeremy might not be the best thing tonight. Right now, he's got company from Lusk. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that.
You notice Henry tried the triple, but Windham did not.
Well, it's
Jimmy Button making a move.
It's a little faster in one place and a little slower in another. You've got to go wide in the corner before. I think it comes out perhaps maybe the same in the end.
Watch these two. Albertyn not having a good season at all. Jimmy Button, who has all of a sudden gained a lot of confidence from his appearance last weekend at the Kingdom.
And that was smart right there. Button was all set up to square him off and get the inside into the corner, and Albertyn just put on the brakes, left him no room.
A 4.5-second lead for Jeremy McGrath out in front. As we take a look at Button, makes the move on Albertyn. Jimmy Button now moves into 4th place behind Ezra Lusk.
Well, you kind of see that coming. Everybody's been able to make that pass. Every time the guy goes wide in front of them, they just stand across the inside, take it over. Oh, Albertyn left that front end drop just a little bit too much going to the corner, just at 6 inches too low. It caused him to go over the bars.
That puts Hughes up a notch now. Ryan Hughes with one of his better races. Albie trying to get started, getting back in the race. He's gone down now in almost every race, David, except for one that I recall.
Well, as long as he stays healthy for the outdoors, I think that's where his focus is going to be. And McGrath threw that outside and over the triple. He doesn't have to worry about anybody cutting to the inside of him. Look how aggressive into that corner, right back on the power to get a good run at that whoop section.
It's a perfect track for McGrath. Very technical. Looks like he brings back some of his BMX days, the way he goes over these whoops and jumps.
Oh, he makes it look so easy, but what he's doing now this year is I think he's even picked it up a notch. He's gotten more and more aggressive. So what used to look like it was just him riding around the track, making it look easy and smooth, now you can see a little bit of intensity mixed in there with it, and that's why he's pulling away.
Henry, Windham, and Lusk, surprisingly so, have not been able to gain any time on him.
Well, I think what's happening now is these guys are all riding great. There's not really much you can do to change position. You just have to wait for a mistake. Keep the pressure on and hope the guy in front of you messes up.
Ezra Ezra Lusk is going to start feeling some heat from behind from number 11, Jimmy Button, pretty soon, as we take a look at the second and third place riders.
What happened?
Lusk.
Kevin Windham came around and clipped one of those tough boxes, and it got stuck in Ezra Lusk's front tire as he was approaching the triple. It's locking up the front wheel right now. What a bad break for Lusk.
Ezra Lusk.
You know what, Art? This could be no points for Ezra Lusk. This could drop him out of the race. I don't know how he's going to get that out of there. It's just completely wrapped in the wheel.
So a very bad break is now one of the track workers coming to help try to rip it out of there.
Yeah, you can see the reaction by Mike Gosselar. It's just Lusk approaching the triple. It flipped out in front of him. Now Jeremy's going to come around. He got it free. And it's just taken off. McGrath is going to come around and see that big black number 3 just ahead of him and wonder what the heck happened, and notice that's a big boost in the points.
Ezra Lusk, 12 laps to go, and he's in 20th place.
That's 1 point compared to 25 for McGrath.
Well, the exciting stretch run to the checkers isn't too exciting here with the 250s, but you can't say that that isn't exciting for this young man, Jeremy McGrath, as he tries for his unprecedented 5th Supercross title and his 2nd straight win on the season. We'll be right back to see what the final results will be.
At 7, only on Classic Sports Network.
Jerry.
Taking a look back at a one-time-only race, the Miller Masters, a $30,000 10-lap dash for cash. And no, that's not a powder puff. That's number 3, Brock Glover, in his pink JT riding gear. He grabbed the whole shot and was never challenged. Johnny O'Mara in second had already won $25,000 in cash at the Wrangler Dash order that season and was still on a high after wrapping up his first Supercross title earlier that night. But by the midway point, his teammate Lachine had moved around and taken over second for good. Even O'Mara had battled a hard-charging Jeff Ward, fresh off a main event win just moments before. It was a great night for Ward and O'Mara, but with the richest purse in U.S. Supercross history on the line, the night belonged to Brock Glover. He got a few laughs for his pink outfit, but in the end, he was the only one laughing. $30,000 richer.
Welcome back to our Supercross in San Diego, California, with 11 laps to go. Here comes Jimmy Button making the pass. Oh my goodness, he made the pass on Windham and blitzes through the whoops. Jimmy Button really showing us some talent on that Chaparral Yamaha.
Boy, how's that for confidence? Just blow by those guys and just completely demoralize them. Jimmy Button, who's got a boost of confidence from last week, obviously, just rode right through these guys. Now they're going to be on the podium together, he and his teammate.
Oh, Marty Reed with a difficult assignment right now.
Well, I'm down here with Mike Gosselar, and we finally found something that can slow your guy down.
Yeah, it looks like he got one of the hay bale covers wrapped up in his front wheel. I don't know if he hit it or if it was out on the track, but it stopped his wheel pretty good.
He was 20th with 12 laps to go. What do you think he can get back?
It's hard to tell with these conditions, you know. Hope he tries as hard as he can.
Well, Mike Gosselar's been encouraging him every lap by, guys.
He's in 19th right now, passing Sebastian Roy. And it's got a little ways to go to catch up with Steve Lamson.
Yeah, and it's his teammate. You can bet that Honda will be telling Steve, you know what, can you just move over a little bit?
Our Suzuki leaderboard, McGrath, and surprisingly Jimmy Button coming out of nowhere. Kevin Windham, Doug Henry, and Ryan Hughes, a top 5 performance. You know, Rhino, really the first time he ever opened some eyes was right here at San Diego. That was his rookie season on the 250s. He got a podium spot.
He's also been really frustrated with the way he's been riding lately. It hasn't been able to put it together. I think he did some things to the bike this week, too, that makes him feel a little bit more comfortable out there, and it just came at a good time. A good city, place where he's done well before, and it always feels good coming back there.
The last time Jeremy McGrath came and going down right in front of us now, it is Doug Henry. Another bad break, another good break for McGrath.
Oh, Henry's going to lose about 5 spots in that. Now it's Dyson with Cortelli. McGrath is way out front. He'll see up ahead of him the 2 Honda teammates, Lamson, who's about to lap, and Lusk, who's moved around, but The bad news for Lusk is if he looks up the racetrack, there's only about 2 or 3 guys within his reach before the end. So he's not going to gain many points here tonight.
Larry Ward starting to make a move now on Ryan Hughes. Ward, number 4 on the Team Suzuki. Ryan, Team Kawasaki. The last time Jeremy McGrath came to San Diego, David, he was riding as well as he's ever ridden. Made it 5 in a row on the season. And that was that great season, of course, in 1996, where he lost only 1 race.
Well, I saw a T-shirt floating around Seattle that said, Mac is back, and the streak starts here. We just may see another streak.
Well, he has won 4 straight here in San Diego. I don't know if he can get a better streak than that. Ricky Johnson could only do 2. LaRocco. You see him coming into the picture now behind Larry Ward.
Not far behind these guys, Pichon on the Suzuki is starting to close the gap as well. So a great battle shaping up here behind Rhino.
Rhino number 10, dealing with that bad back. This has been really the first week that he's been able to ride during the week. It was all rehab 2 weeks before. Here comes Larry Ward. Ward trying to show him a wheel. Goes to the inside. Can't get the power out of the turn.
You can see it in...
Tortelli down.
Yeah, more problems. He went down early, got connected in the first corner with Huffman and Phil Lawrence having to come from way behind. And out of the points now, I don't see who's going to make a big run for the lead here at the end.
About a 7-second lead for Jeremy McGrath.
Larry Ward trying different lines, everything he can do. Oh, Ryan getting sideways. If Ward had been a little closer, he could have high-sided right off his back tire.
6 laps to go. Larry Ward trying to make it now.
3 wide off the surface. That gets a little tight.
And, of course, Ward, getting that 4th place in Seattle, was running in a podium spot many, many laps.
I was about to say that it's a little dangerous for Ward to try to go out and take any chances, take any different lines to find his way around Rhino, because LaRocco could sneak in there and do it.
Here's LaRocco. Just as you thought about it, scraping machines. LaRocco and Ryan Hughes with Larry Ward trying to be the opportunist behind them. Rhino holding true. He's a tough rider. 5 laps to go. Jeremy McGrath with it in the bag, it looks like. Of course, we said that in Seattle a few years ago when he got a flat tire. Jimmy Button in 2nd place, his teammate. And Kevin Windham looking for his first podium of the year. Hughes in 4th with LaRocco, Ward, and Pichon the order. Larry Ward to the inside on Mike LaRocco. Oh, he squeezed by that.
I'd like to see Larry do that, fight back, because he got past and thought, well, that's that. And I think LaRocco's making his charge.
Let's take a look at the Honda stopwatch now. Jeremy McGrath already out of our picture, and Jimmy Button coming around, picking up some time on him. But Jeremy McGrath not really too concerned about it.
No, I don't think so. About 12 seconds back to Windham, who I'm really impressed with. The way he's riding, he's still, if he can finish here, is going to be the only guy besides Jeremy to make the podium in every round so far, and picking up the pace with each round.
Not really making the podium, everyone, but making a single-digit finish.
Right. Most consistent.
Everyone else has had a double-digit finish so far this season. Ward, number 4. Oh, look at this battle between these 3. That's incredible.
Trying for the block pass and got past. These guys are just glued together. One mistake can cost you a couple positions.
Oh, this has got to be fun. Hughes and LaRocco.
McGrath turning 51-second lap times consistently. Hasn't flinched.
LaRocco, of course, his sponsors Jack in the Box right here. Their hometown is San Diego. He's putting on quite a show. Let's go down to Marty Riggin.
A couple of quick points. First, Ryan Hughes, you're dead spot on, guys. He said right before this race, I said, how you feeling? He says, excellent. He says, I'm 100%. Secondly, Suzuki, one of the things that Jimmy Button, and we talked about before, and all the Yamaha guys have been training together. Not so with the Suzuki crew. Everybody's sort of been training on their own, and it may be one of the factors why Suzuki has not been running up front.
And it's a Suzuki rider right now, David Bailey, really putting on the push, and it's number 16, Mickael Pichon. He's right behind Hughes and Ward. LaRocco making a move, Ward making a move, and there's Pichon. 3 riders getting by.
Tortelli has gone down again, and Lusk has actually been able to climb a little further into the field than I thought. So he's gaining valuable points that can really mean a big difference at the final round.
Jeremy McGrath looking for his 5th straight win here in San Diego, and that's not counting 125s. In Seattle, of course, becoming only the 2nd rider in Supercross history to win on 3 brands, winning on the Suzuki last year. Ward is giving chase to LaRocco as we check out Jeremy McGrath. 1 lap to go. Jeremy McGrath with the white flag as Button goes by.
He might show San Diego a knack-knack over here on this final triple. He was a huge favorite when he rolled out for the opening ceremonies, and he's given the crowd what they came to see.
McGrath, Button, Windham, LaRocco.
Boy, this is going to feel good. In Button's mind, it very possibly could have been 2 podiums in a row, but it feels good to get on it at least once. Teammates, 1st and 2nd.
Jeremy McGrath taking plenty of time, teasing the crowd. Jeremy McGrath, his 47th career victory. Jimmy Button, his teammate, his highest finish in 250 Supercross. And Kevin Windham, who has a win under his belt last year, gets his 1st podium. Then LaRocco, Ward, Pichon in that order. So Jeremy McGrath, who just keeps erasing all kinds of records, ties Ricky Johnson and Bob Hanna with 63 career Supercross, motocross combined victories. Teammates on Chaparral Yamaha saluting the crowd together. 1 and 2 here in San Diego. Back in a moment.
And on ESPN2.
AMA Supercross has been brought to you by Honda Motorcycles, celebrating 50 years with great deals during Honda Dream Days. And by Suzuki Motorcycles and ATVs. Now during Suzuki Fest 98, get $500 worth of accessories for free and choose from great deals like 0 down or low APR financing on selected models. The assault on the all-time Supercross record book continues with Jeremy McGrath, his 2nd win in a row, and widening that points gap. And I bet Jeremy McGrath is almost as happy about his teammate Jimmy Button after that heartbreaking situation last week when he went from 2nd to 6th with the checkered flag in sight. But anyway, it's McGrath, Button, Windham, LaRocco, and Ward, our top 5. And as we take a look at the 6 through 10, Marty?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Look at the smiles down here. They were talking about a shirt they saw that said, Mac is back and the streak starts here. 2 in a row.
Yeah, I'm really happy. My Chaparral Yamaha is working really good. My Bridgestone tires. You know, it's been a long time since I've had confidence like I do now, and I'm afraid it's going to have to snowball from here.
So is the season over? Should we just stop running these races?
No, we can't count our chickens yet until they hatch, but, you know, I'm feeling really good. I'm extremely excited for our team. You know, my teammate Jimmy Button up here comes in 2nd, and, you know, if we can keep going 1-2 sweep, we'll be on heaven.
This is the best finish by Team Chaparral ever. Let me bring Jimmy in here. All the frustration of last week, we talked about in the heat race that you made it a positive, and man, it paid dividends.
Yeah, for sure. You know, last week I could have gotten really, down on myself for the mistakes I made, but, I turned it into a positive, a learning note. So, it just showed today. I got a really bad start in the main, but, I just kept going forward. I saw Jeremy up front. I knew my lap times were about the same as his, so I just kept going, and I got everybody, and only one guy didn't get it, but that's all right. We'll take 2nd place for tonight.
Yeah, bad start, 15th. So, a great comeback. This is spelling a big set of problems come next week at Indianapolis, too.
Yeah, for sure. The bikes are working great. Kel Carruthers, Bridgestone bikes working awesome. And,
hopefully I can just, you know, keep going, and hopefully me and him can go 1-2 the rest of the year. You know, get a points lead for Jeremy, put me in second. You know, I'm pretty far back right now, but it'll be pretty good.
All right, Jimmy, thanks a lot. Let's get Kevin Windham over here real quick. Kevin, here, just come on right in here. The stage isn't that big. 1, 2, 3, sweet for Yamaha, and I saw you talking to John Dowd right after his win. What did he tell you that helped?
He just told me all the good lines out there. You know, John rode a great race, and you know, John's just one of the best guys out there. And you know, I was so happy to see him do good, and it was mostly congratulate him. And he came and told me some good lines. So you know, just we all work together as a team, and you know, we all test together, and our bikes are working great for us. And you know, it's just a wonderful night, and all the work's finally paying off.
This program, we talked about it also, the fact that you guys are riding together, everybody, it's really paying very big dividends.
Oh, exactly. You know, Jeremy's on top of his game right now, and he's been there, you know, with as many championships as he's won, and you know, it's just incredible right now. So you know, I mean, you know, you can't beat it whenever you got so many guys that cooperate and we all get along, and you know, it's just great.
Well, guys, this is a formidable win for Yamaha. 1, 2, and 3.
And David Bailey, at the beginning of the season, when they lost Ezra Lusk, things were looking like for Keith McCarty, gosh, how do we reassemble this team? But then all of a sudden, Chaparral steps up with an independent contract for both Jimmy Button and Jeremy McGrath. And, of course, they had the young superstar in the making, Kevin Windham, already signed up. And, boy, did they come through here tonight. As we take a look at the Suzuki points standings, Jeremy McGrath extending it to 114 points now as we look forward to the round in Indianapolis. Lusk, such a bad break. Such a bad break. And Emig now can feel Windham behind him in the points race as they battle it out for the top 3. So it really an exciting evening. Different types of scenarios, David.
Well, McGrath has definitely established himself as the guy to beat, the guy that can go out there and intimidate everyone. If they look over their shoulder to see number 2, it's going to worry him again, like it did in '96. And Emig still hasn't found his rhythm.
The Mac is back. Art Eckman, David Bailey, Marty Reed, thanking you for being a part of our Supercross family and hoping you can join us next from Indianapolis, Indiana, for our next round. Supercross 98, a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.